nakahiga, natutulog sa isang maliit na upuan, may oxygen cannula, talagang sintomas yun pag nahihilo na sa diabetes. Hindi ba kayo natauhan doon sa sitwasyon niya, sa kalagayan niya? Di ba kayo nag-alala na yung inaaresto ninyo talagang masama ang kalagayan, maluba ang karamdaman? Yes, General Torre. Nakita mo naman siguro, nakita ko lang sa picture, di mas lalo mong nakita.
Regarding the medical condition of the former president, sa tingin ko naman, ma'am, supisyente ang mga doktor na nandun, and I defer to their expertise.
Pero hindi niya doktor. Ayon sa batas,
andun,
siya
ma'am,
ang
may picture.
pipili ng doktor.
Ma'am, may picture tayo rito na may doktor siyang sarili galing sa sa Cardinal Santos. Babae po yun, nakaputing t-shirt. At siya po ay doktor ni PRRD. Ang sa akin lang dito, ma'am, is that I take comfort on the fact that we have a benefit of 2020 hindsight, ma'am. Bago maglanding aeroplano ni President Duterte, he himself was the one who made a video, pinadala niya sa anak niya, pinost ni Kitty, sinasabi niya okay siya. So I think all the discussions now about his medical condition, parang siya lang mismo nagsabi mo na okay siya bago maglanding sa Hague. At ibigay niya kay Kitty yon, pinost sa internet yon, and everyone sees. So thank you, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I understand what you're saying, General Torre. Ang problema nga, kung ako ay pulis sa Batanes, sa kahit saan, sa sulok ng Taguig, sa sulok ng Pangasinan, sa sulok ng ang laki-laki ng Davao, Cebu City, tapos sinabing kailangan ko doktor ko. And then sabihin isa lang sufficiente or sa militar sufficiente. Paano kung may nangyari sa kanila? That's why the law is clear. The law is clear. Doctors, priest, choice nung inaaresto or dinidetain, and then ganun din pag family members. No ifs, no buts. Diba? So, I have seen Supreme Court cases where they said that this is not to be a precedent, that this is a special case. Diba? We've seen Supreme Court cases. So, if you say this is a special case, given the circumstance, I will not say you're right, but I will not argue with you. But if you tell me, sir, okay naman siya, o tignan mo. So paano nga kung, kasi the law is clear Hindi naman ikaw magsasabing sufficiente, hindi. But you're supposed to allow all of his doctors in right away, and you're supposed to allow his family members there and not deny them. So yun lang yung point that I want to make. Especially kung si Ambassador Lacanilao also is certifying to the ICC. I'm not sure but tingin ko, kaya hindi kinuha kagad si President Duterte na hindi mo pa napirmahan lahat. Because ayaw nilang kunin, tapos hindi fit to travel, pag na-stroke yun o may nangyari sa kanya, human rights institution yun, sila pagbibintangan. Kaya ka pinapirma muna na at hindi ko kunin hanggang hindi ka pumirma, para yung responsibility na sa atin. Diba? So that's what I'm saying, General Torre, that what I'm discussing with you now is beyond what happened here. It's the revised rules of PNP operational procedure vis-a-vis the Republic Act 7438. Sa 7438, there's no exception Hindi sinabi dito na pag ganitong oras, hindi na pwede yung anak. Pagka ganito, yung doktor, pipila ka sa labas, hindi ganitong oras. Diba? So anyway, I think we both made our points naman unless you want to add on that. No?
Yes, if it's all right, I think Attorney Martin Delgra is now online. Committee Secretary, if you'll administer the oath, please. Nasaan si Attorney Delgra?
I'm here, Madam Chair.
Yes, where are you
I'm
physically
present,
located?
Via Zoom.
Nasa
I'm
Hague pa
actually
po
at the
kayo?
Hague, the
Mukhang
Netherlands.
malamig ang damit nyo
Opo. Opo, medyo, I'm not used to this kind of weather po.
Sige, yes, Secretary, please.
Malamig.
Attorney Delga, kindly raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in the Senate investigation?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you very much, Attorney Delgra. You said you had some questions for Ambassador Lacanilao. Please proceed.
If I may, Madam Chair, just a very short opening statement. because I have been listening to the proceedings earlier, especially on what Ambassador Lacalinao said, as well as General Torres' statement made earlier. But before that, if I may make a very short opening statement, if I may be allowed.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. I thank the Senate committee for inviting me in today's hearing. At the outset, it is our humble submission that the Senate committee and eventually Congress to craft meaningful legislation, among others, on making persons liable who bring, cause to bring, or forced to bring Filipinos out of the country without legal or proper travel documents. We understand that under current legislation, I may not be properly informed, but it is only the person who travel or attempt to travel illegally abroad who is personally liable. In the case of the former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, he has vehemently objected his transport to The Hague, the Netherlands. When General Torre and his PNP personnel were finally able to surround and secure the person of the former president and eventually into the plane and to The Hague, he loudly objected, and I quote, "You have to kill me to bring me to The Hague." He said that at least twice. That said, the former president, he has consistently said that he will face any case that may be filed against him in the Philippines in relation to his administration campaign against illegal drugs. Another point that I would like to state here for the record for the Senate committee to consider is to review the consistent government policy to assist any Filipino harassed, arrested, detained, or even convicted abroad for whatever cases filed against them, extending in any legal assistance, including the repatriation of its citizen to the Philippines. Very recently, three Filipinos were detained in China, but were assisted by the Philippine government through this administration. And I think 2 or 3 days ago, 15 Filipinos whose cases were dismissed in Qatar, crediting this administration's assistance to our kababayan. What is upsetting and mind-boggling to me is that we have an elderly Filipino citizen, an 80-year-old Filipino, who was arrested and detained in the Philippines, allegedly by virtue of a foreign, not a local warrant, and forcibly brought out of the country to be brought to trial in a foreign court. And that is my opening statement, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And
You had
that's
a
precisely
question?
why what the government, Ambassador Lacalinao is saying is utterly untrue, as well as what General Torre have said earlier about the doctor.
Ano po ang nangyari sa pakiwari ninyo? Kasi sinasabi ninyo hindi totoo yung sinabi ni Ambassador Lacanilao at ni General Torre. Ano ba talaga nangyari?
Just to give context, Madam Chair, in the same way that Senator Bongo was not allowed entry when we arrived at the NAIA 3 terminal and to talk to the former president, but he was eventually brought to Villamor, we were able to follow the former president to Villamor. Apparently, the guards at Villamor were not able to see who else were in the convoy, so we were able to get in. Unfortunately for Senator Bongo and the rest, including some lawyers, they were not able to get in, despite their request that they be able to see the president. That said, I was there all throughout the day until the time he left in the evening. And Ambassador Lacanilao was there as well inside the Villamor Air Base. So as to the question number 8 of that information on the surrender and transfer of the detained person referring to the former president, hindi naman po masabi. Let's take away the certification mentioned by the DOJ because he has personal knowledge of the fact that the former president was never transferred or brought to a national competent judicial authority in the Philippines. So he knows it for a fact. He does not have to wait for a DOJ certification to answer the question asked of him by an ICC representative.